All right, can everyone see my screen? Okay. All right, so welcome to our generative AI foundational class. So this is just going to be a basic class. If you don't know much about how generative AI works, we're going to walk you through how generative AI is used in today's world, what creates generative AI, and how it's used um, in today's world properly. And this is presented by Worthy Works Foundation Core. Um, can't move on to the next slide. Okay, so first we're going to be going through the intro, and this is just going to be different things that allow AI to work. So things like retrieval augmented generation. Now I know this is a topic over here, but it's still a fundamental in allowing generative AI to work. And essentially things we're going to be talking about data, how data is used in generative AI. Hold on, I just have to let somebody else in. Okay, yeah. So as I was saying, first we're going to be going through the intro. This is mostly just how data is used and how it's the basis of generative AI. Next, we're going to be going through application. So different uses of generative AI. So, things like email correction, we're going to be using that as our example. Image generation, I'll show you that at the end. Our third topic is going to be large language model and what LLMs are and their relationship to Gen AI. And our fourth topic is going to be prompting. Prompting is essentially tuning the AI to retrieve a more accurate response. So giving it specific instructions that allow it to give you a better generated response that is tailored to your needs. And the fifth is retrieval augmented generation. And this is essentially just using the data given to generate a more accurate response. So before we start, I just want to go over who we are and why we're doing this. So we are Worthy Works, a 501c nonprofit organization dedicated to providing STEM and other educational courses and activities with a particular focus on coding and technology-related subjects. Our mission is to empower children by sharing our knowledge and demonstrating that learning can be enjoyable and exciting. I am Arnav Tripathi.
I'm Devon Shah.
And I'm Pranav Vemulapalli.
Okay. So first on to our first topic. So this is just the intro to generative AI. All right. So in case you don't know what generative AI is, it's a class of artificial intelligence systems that have the ability to generate new content. Now, the difference between generative AI and AI previously is AI is just using the content that's already there and altering it in a way. It's not creating anything new. While generative AI uses what it's given, it uses the data it's provided with to generate new content and new images. Now, the content that Gen AI creates isn't perfected yet. So it can create things that are inaccurate. It can have errors, which is why it's important to always check what the AI is generating. So the key thing is that generative AI isn't perfected yet, but it does have the ability to generate new content based on what it's already given. And this content can be in the form of text, images, or other forms. And it's based on patterns and information learned from existing data sets. So existing data sets, this is what is key. If the AI doesn't have data given to it, it can't generate anything. The entire purpose of generative AI is to use content given to it, which is given by humans. Humans give it content. So this is just information online, information through Google. It has all this information and it's using that to be able to not only generate new things, but also provide you with the information you need that might already be within the existing data set. It's just going to be easier to find because you can ask it a question instead of having to search through Google. So again, it's heavily reliant on existing data and it finds applications across various domains, including natural language processing, image generation, and creative tasks. So we'll be getting more into that. There's various different things AI can do, and there's many different uses. Data, again, I just explained how data is crucial for the effectiveness of AI systems. The more accurate your data, the more accurate your response is going to be. And the more data you have, the more creative the response can be because it has more things to go off of to be able to give you a higher quality response. Now, the AI can't just be given all this data and then create a response. It uses things called algorithms to be able to uh, put that data together in a way to be able to create the response you want. So algorithms are mathematical models and procedures that process input data and they process output or predictions. So this is what you want. We get output. We input either data into the AI or our question, and then it gives us the response. Now this is called our output. And machine learning algorithms, so ML is what's used in AI, machine learning. And these are neural networks, decision trees, and support vector machines. These are all essential for training AI systems. And training is the process of feeding data into an AI system and allowing it to learn and improve its performance. So AI essentially learns every time you use it. It's not going to be the same from the first time you use it uh, as like the 50th time. Every time that you use the AI, it learns based on something called feedback. The feedback you give it, it'll tailor the response to what you'll need in the future. So again, feedback mechanism, it's a continuous improvement and it is achieved through a feedback loop. And it's just basically it's just telling the AI whether the response was good or bad and how to refine it so that it can give you a more enhancing response. Interference um, Interference is the application of a trained model to new unseen data. So once the AI model is trained, it can be used for making predictions, classifications, or generating outputs based on real-world input. So you can think about inference like in English class, how you infer what's going to happen next in a story. AI is essentially the same thing. It makes an inference on what the user wants what the user wants. The AI doesn't always have exactly what the user wants. That's why it's generative. It generates new content. And it has to infer what is the best response that it can give you to make the user the most satisfied. And then the last is the human interaction interface. This is basically how humans communicate with the AI. Now, what we're used to is things like ChatGPT, Bing Chat. This is just through computer. We interact with the AI through the computer and keyboard. But with a new AI, such as in cars, right? Like in Tesla and actual human-sized robots, we're able to interact with this AI through hand gestures, right? Things like that. So it's basically different ways to provide input to the AI, and then it'll give you an output. So different forms of output as well. It can be text output, image output. It can even be like physical output as well. So and natural language processing and computer vision are examples of interfaces that enable communication between humans and AI. So that was basically more of the intro to how generative AI works. Now we're going to be showing you examples of how you can use this in your daily life. I'm going to hand it over to Devanshana.
Okay. Just gonna share my screen now. Okay. Okay, you can see this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we just went over the basic introduction of generative AI, and now we are on to applications of AI. So there's many different uses of AI. We're gonna go over a couple of examples. We're gonna go over how the consumer, like me and you, can use it, how different companies, and there's more advanced uses of AI that a lot of large companies are using. And I have a little short video to show you exactly how it's used to the next level. Okay, so applications of generative AI. So Gen AI creates original content for the user, and it has lightning fast responses and aids the user in general areas that they might refer to. So we have these platforms like ChatGPT, Bing AI, Bard on Google. These create lightning fast responses, and it's a nice user interface where the user can input whatever information that they need, and it's very easy to use, and it replies back with all the information and broadens up that topic. Different features like chat responses, designs, synthetic data, images, and deepfakes. So we know that it has basic chat responses. There's designs if you want to construct a website or make a design for um, some product that you have. These platforms like ChatGPT, Bard, they can do that in a blink of an eye. And you're familiar with images, how you can input something, give a good description of it, and the AI will reply back with exactly what you need in the image. Not all of the platforms have this, like ChatGPT has a plus version where it's paid, but uh, there's AIs on WhatsApp and on Copilot, which is on Bing, that do give images for free. You might not be familiar with synthetic data and deepfakes, so I'll give you a little um, give a little information on what that is. So synthetic data is artificial information that is not provided by real world events. So it's information that either you put into the into the AI that you want it to use, or it's the AI coming up with it on the spot. And that plays into deepfakes is when the human face is mimicked through the AI, and it makes you it makes the human say whatever you want. So you might have the face of someone, and the AI is making its mouth move, its hands move, and it's putting a human voice on it to make it say something that's programmed by the computer. Okay, next is companies and businesses use generative AI for promotion ideas, schemes, designs, and aspects that could expand their platform. There's a lot of companies, and AI, it could be used for good things, and other things that you don't want to use it is like in school. You don't want to cheat with it, but there's a lot of benefits to AI. If you want to design something, a website, like I said before, companies use generative AI for ideas, for schemes, how to promote their products, and it could be used by you and me as well for similar aspects. And as I said before, Gen AI is used on a lot of platforms, and now really any popular company is adding this. Like even services like WhatsApp is adding um, AI, the Meta AI, into their platforms. And all of these have similar user inputs. It's pretty easy to use. Anyone can use it. And so there's Bard on Google, Copilot on Bing, ChatGPT with OpenAI, and WhatsApp also has it. And there's many others that we're going to go into, and we'll show examples of how they also incorporate it. Okay, so here we have advanced uses. So we went over how normal it's used for information, designs, promotion of ideas, but now there's also advanced uses of generative AI, how they can handle more difficult tasks. We've already seen this in the world in the past couple of years, how robots can handle like heavy material. They can build products really quickly, and that's why it's already incorporated in the world. But generative AI is something different that is just introduced in the past year. So this AI has been developed to standards that can perform difficult tasks with ease and efficiency. This can be done in fields like art, computer programs, AI tutoring, self-driven vehicles. Those are some of the examples that are used in the real world today. So computer programs, if you ask ChatGPT to make you a program about some game or some website using Python or Java, it will do that. And you can tell it some of the preferences that you might have to make it more specific towards whatever you want. AI tutoring is another one where online you might see on Khan Academy, there's an AI that helps you with whatever questions that you have in your learning. And Here, I have a video. We're going to watch that in a bit, and it's the ability for AI and robots to think and gather information. So it's something completely new where usually you would have to give the AI information from the past, and they would act upon and give you responses based on that. But now it has the ability to think on its own, learn information by the scene around it, and then give you instant feedback on it. We're gonna get into that. So the last point is ChatGPT. It was released a year and a half ago, and it's basically breaking the world now with this new technology. And now once again, they have released this robot. It's called Figure One. It's a real model that mimics the thinking and speaking like a human with the ability to learn and act upon it. Okay, so I have a 2-minute video. We're gonna watch that first, and um, and then we'll move on from that. Okay, you can hear this, right? Okay.
Hey, Figure One, what do you see right now?
I see a red apple on a plate in the center of the table, a drying rack with cups and a plate, and you standing nearby with your hand on the table.
Great, can I have something to eat?
Sure thing.
Great. Can you explain why you did what you just did while you pick up this trash?
On it. So I gave you the apple because it's the only edible item I could provide you with from the table.
Great, so based on the scene right now, where do you think the dishes in front of you go next?
The dishes on the table, like that plate and cup, are likely to go into the drying rack next.
Great, can you put them there?
Of course.
All right, so how do you think you did?
I think I did pretty well. The apple found its new owner, the trash is gone, and the tableware is right where it belongs.
I agree. Thanks, Figure One.
Okay. So that wasn't much, but it was just a basic snippet of what Gen AI having the ability to think and learn and react and give a response upon that. That was just a little snippet of what it looks like. So obviously not that much happened in that video. It was just a person asking the robot what it saw and giving it responses on that. So this robot Figure One, it basically what it did was it didn't know that the owner was asking for. It didn't know exactly what the edible item was. It was scanning for that, learning the information that was in front of it, that the apple is the only consumable thing, and that's what I should give it. So it was a small example, but it had a larger meaning that now a lot of this learning with AI is happening, and it's going to be incorporated in our world in a couple of years. So that was a little example of that. And now the last thing we're going to do for applications is how we can actually use ChatGPT for this. So I'm pretty sure everyone should have ChatGPT. We told it in the flyer or on Classroom that everyone should make an account before this class. So is there anyone that hasn't done that? You can put in the chat or say something, because we do want everyone to do something like this on their own end. Okay. Okay, I'm not seeing anything, but if there is someone that hasn't, it's not that hard to make. You can go into the classroom. There's a link for it over here, and you can make your account and follow along. So what the example that we're going to do right now is one of the ways that we can use ChatGPT or these AI services to help us. So the example that we're using today is email correction. So if I want to send an email, but I'm not too sure if it's good enough, it could use some suggestions, some improvements, I can use these services to help it out. So what I want everyone to do, and I'll do this as well, is make an email that has a lot of errors in it. Make sure it doesn't have a subject, make the ending just have a lot of errors, have spelling errors, capitalization errors, punctuation errors. Just write an email that you would write to one of your teachers and put it into this. Make it something about like math homework or something. That's what I'm gonna use. So I'm just gonna say a random email. I'll just say, "Hello, Miss Stacy. I wanted to ask about my missing math homework from yesterday. I apologize about this." So you can see I'm adding a lot of spelling mistakes, capitalization errors, and wanted to ask if I could turn it in tomorrow. Okay, so I have a really simple email over here, and you have to make sure that you tell ChatGPT exactly what you want it to do. Improve this email with a proper subject. I'll just say middle for the context and ending. Okay, and I'll just send this, and you can see that in a couple of seconds, it tells me exactly what it is. So it gives me a subject that I can put in my email. It corrected this middle. I wrote like 2 sentences with so many mistakes, and it gave me an entire better response for everything. And you can see how this is so much better, and it doesn't even look that AI generated. The job of AI is to make whatever these requests that you have to make it as human as possible. And it definitely does that task very easily and very well. And you can see at the end also, it has a proper ending, sincerely my name, which I didn't even put over here. So yeah, so this is one basic example that a lot of people do, and we have other examples that Pranav and Arnav will go over in the lesson as well.
Could you answer the question in the chat for everyone?
Oh, yeah. Um, how do you go on to the next line without sending it? So, okay, when you're typing it, let's say I do that again. You want to press Shift and Enter, and it won't enter it. You have to press it at the same time. You press Shift and then Enter, it'll keep going on. Is there anything else? I don't think so. Okay, yes, anyone have any questions, you can speak out loud right now, put in the chat. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so now I'm gonna hand it over to, yeah, Pranav.
All right. You see my screen?
Yeah, we can.
All right. So now we just finished with the applications of AI, and now we're moving on to how the AI is actually able to generate these responses. And this comes with large language models. So large language models, or LLMs, are machine learning models that can comprehend and generate human text. So essentially, LLMs are more specifically related to the text portion of the blanketed generative AI term. LLMs are proficient in generating and understanding text, which imitates like a way in which an actual human would respond in a certain example. The way in one communicates with an AI evolves with the application of LLMs, because LLMs allow the AI to actually produce the best response with the use of data. So they are fed enough examples to be able to recognize and interpret human language or other types of complex data. And after being fed enough examples of this human language and data, they are able to produce an accurate response that is tailored to your needs. So these models are trained using a large amount of data. And with training, the model actually adjusts different parameters and values until the model correctly predicts the next input based on the previous set of inputs. So when your response is put in, it's able to produce a word that, or a sentence that actually relates to what you're trying to produce. So the LLMs predict the word that is most likely to come next in a given sequence of words. And for each word in the response, it repeats the same process. So the second word of the LLM's response is generated by analyzing the prompt along with the predicted first word. And then the LLM analyzes a new sequence for the next word as well. These LLMs use a type of machine learning called deep learning in order to understand how characters, words, and sentences function together. So deep learning models can recognize complex patterns in pictures, text, sounds, and other data to produce accurate insights and predictions. So essentially, LLMs are the reason why AI is able to quickly and efficiently produce a response to any of your needs. But this is only really applicable to language and how it actually texts back to you in ChatGPT. When you text a response, it gives you a text response back. So that's using large language modules to produce those. All right. Next, we're going to move on to prompting for AI. So this is exactly how you are supposed to ask an AI to do what you want it to do. So what is prompting? Prompting refers to providing specific instructions for an AI model to follow. It involves specifying the input enough to generate the desired output in one command. So providing specific AI prompts avoids these vague replies, and it ensures that user that it can get a distinct answer, direct response, and a thorough prompt that is tailored to your needs. So prompting fosters accuracy during the AI decision-making process, helping to produce results which are more relevant and contextually appropriate. So there are 4 key ways to actually optimize prompting for professional AI use. These 4 ways include context clues, which are providing specific context or cues to guide AI responses, ensuring relevance and accuracy in generated outputs. So you've heard of context clues in maybe English class, where you have to, in a sentence, to understand the definition of a word, you look at the words around it to see what that word might mean. And that same thing is used in this sense, where you give the context within your prompting to guide the AI and to make it know what you actually want it to say. And then task orientation is framing prompts around particular tasks or objectives, and AI can better understand user intentions and provide tailored responses. So task orientation, if you have to specify what you actually want the AI to give you within your prompt in order for it to give a good response. So if you just give, and we'll get into that later with the examples, where if you don't use a specified thing within your prompt, it will give you a vague response that doesn't have anything to do with what you actually want from it. So input structuring are where prompts help structure input data for models, enabling more effective processing and interpretation of user queries or instructions. And improving performance is well-crafted prompts can enhance AI performance by highlighting key information and minimizing ambiguity, leading to more coherent and useful outputs. So this relates to task orientation in terms of making sure each part of your prompt is specifically detailed in what you want it to do, so that you can avoid all the vagueness and ambiguity when it comes to actually getting a response. So this is one example of a social media post. If you were to want a social media post about, say, a restaurant that you were making, this is an example of how prompting can actually make sure that you get what you need instead of a vague thing that won't help you. So in the first one, in the vague unprompted response, you see that the user asked to make a post about a restaurant. They didn't specify any details about what the restaurant actually is, any dates or times or anything like that, and they didn't say anything that they wanted the post to have. And with that, the response came with a really big social media post with different information that has nothing to do with the restaurant that they actually want. And it's just, there's no information that actually helps someone with the restaurant. See, it says, "We're thrilled to unveil our latest culinary gem," but it doesn't say anything about the actual food in the restaurant because it doesn't know what the restaurant actually is. So in the next one, in the specific prompted response, it asks you to it asks the AI to develop a social media post about a new restaurant called Open Pizza House with the time 7:30 p.m. and a date, and asks it to use words that can appeal to a customer to actually attract in people to come to the restaurant. And here it does exactly that with use of emojis that have to do with the pizza house, as it uses the pizza emojis here in the first line. And along with that, it uses specific dates and times that you included in your prompt because you wanted it to do that in your social media post. And even throughout the response, it uses different words that might attract customers and other words that have to do specifically with pizza, like these hashtag pizza house grand opening or hashtag pizza lovers unite. Then this is specifically because you included pizza house in the prompt. And the only way it would be able to do that is if you included that.
Okay, guys. So Zoom has a 40-minute meeting limit. So just so you know, the meeting's gonna end in about a minute. And so I'm gonna be posting a new Zoom link in Classroom. So just make sure to check that and then join right back. And then we'll continue from there.
All right. Should I just wait for the meeting to end because the
Okay,
next
I'm gonna
thing
go
needs to
ahead
end?
and just post the meeting link right now. Devon, if you could do that. So once you guys see that link in the classroom, you can join that.